Hi and welcome to this week's video. In this video I make up some of the solid fuel lines to take the fuel from the wings down to the main tank, and I make a start on the starboard side of the fuselage for the entry flap stroke side combing. So let's get cracking, come on then. I needed some bushings for my tube which I'm using for the door latching system, so I thought I'd just go and make up some bushings, which I've done from a section of tube from one of these pens that run out of ink. So it's just cut through it, cleaned it up to make sure it's good, and cut it to some lengths to work as bushings. The ribbing's going in at the moment for the starboard side skin, and I'm playing, just working out how the fuel hose system is going to go, or fuel pipe system is going to go around for the wing pickup. So flexible tube comes out of the wing into here, down. This clear section here is so that you can sort of see if there's actual fuel in the line. When you open up the tap, it should then drain through until you end up with it being clear, telling you that tank is empty. Going down this sort of section here, I've put the bend in so that there's enough room for cabling and wiring to go underneath it, and it's supported here on the fuel tap. These clips will be rotated a little bit, I think, to make sure there's nothing hanging around. I've just temporarily put it in. I've filled the end of the pipe at 3 points at the moment. I've just got to do that one there, and we can make up the other side, I suppose. But that's the basic fuel routing. Right then, what I'm doing is I'm bending this hinge across. You probably on the vise I've got the edge of this section here level with the top of the vise. There's enough of a gap underneath the knuckle to allow me to bend it slightly, so it's not particularly high tech. I'm just bending them over. I'll show you why in a moment. Okay, just to show you what I've been up to, what the bending was about. You sort of see I've bent the knuckles over, and that allows my hinge to nest in that format, unlike the sort of normal hinge alignment, which will sort of be more akin to that sort of setup. It allows the door and things to be a little bit deeper. It's just a different way of doing it. It's the way I was taught or shown on a couple of aircraft restorations, how they've been done. So I've replicated that here. It just seems to be appropriate. The initial holes have been drilled through here and through the hinge into the backing. I'll once I've got all the skins and everything bonded and everything else, I'll be putting in the extra, well, not the extra, but the additional screw holes in between these. So there should be 9 screws holding on each hinge half to its relevant section. I'm leaving these ones out for the time being. I'm not putting ones in there because the amount of stagger needed is going to be different. It's going to be more on here. It's going to be quite close to the edge of the wood going into the ply skin, where the other section, it's going to be more in line with these screws that make slightly offset going into the longeron. I've got this arrowhead going through with those little nylon bushes made out of the pen. Everything's clamped. There's a piece of wood in here which is to represent this piece of wood, and a piece of 16th ply to give a clearance. At this end I've got a piece of 16th ply to give a clearance between this end rib, and the stop rib that's on the rear cockpit bulkhead. Everything else is glued up. Just going to let this lot cure, so I'm not going to be able to touch this now till tomorrow. Well, there's the inner ply skin bonded in. I've put a glue fillet along that lower strip edge there, just to give it a little bit of extra beef glue joint, because that's where the hinges and things are going to go. I was sort of debating whether I need to put extra blocks in. I had a little look at the brass inserts and it should be okay. You'll see there's little gaps here. That's deliberate to allow the taper. I'm going to put a tapered piece of wood in, quite narrow, right up to this edge, just to reinforce the whole of this bonding to the inner skin, because that helps give all the torsional rigidity. I didn't want it just being an edge on, so by having that little bit extra, well, that little bit of a gap means I can make sure I can see the wedge is fully seated and home. So that's just my methodology there. It's either that or have it so, yeah, if I had it as a tight edge and glued along there, when I put the packing piece in, there could be glue globules, which would mean that the triangular section might not seat fully. Okay, making up one of these fuel line sections, I want to bend this, and it's going to be bent to that angle, the same as this one. So I've got a mark on here which, if we put that in line, lines up with where the bottom of this, if you drew a line, would continue to hit. And that way I can put this into my bending tool and I can sight through here down the bottom of the groove, so to speak, like that, to where the line is. And now use my tool. I want to make sure I get the same angle, so there I've got a bend. It's been supported, so it's not crushed down. No real stress on that. So that's the pipe bent, ready to go. And the next section is to create these flares here. So I'll show you how I do that now. So I'm using this flaring tool. This is a Sykes Pickavant flaring tool. The pipe is held within two forms, like this one, and the flaring end piece pushes down and actually gives us what we want. So this is just the standard barrel flare that we're doing on here. So I'll just make sure that the end of my pipe is in level with the end of the form. I tighten this down. This grips the pipe, and now I'm not going to go to the full depth of flare. I'm only going to go part way because I don't want a full flare. I'm doing this to just have something to hold the fuel pipe hose in position. So there we are. That's about half the flare distance, and hopefully you can see I've got a nice little bulge. So now the fuel tube will go over that, and the hose clamp will be this side of it. That will hold it all there so it can't just slip off the end. So there we go. I'll just do the other one, and that's this pipe done. Well, that's it for this week. Just the fuel pipes made up, and made some progress on the entry door. Quite a lot of work still to do on that. It's quite a complex side, not as straightforward as the port side, but hopefully we'll get it finished next week. So keep well, catch you then, bye now. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up. You can subscribe or even hit the little bell notification for future videos. Any comments would be appreciated, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Remember, go fly and feel the sky.